Hello, team players. So, I am going to cover the human in my next video, because that's the first step to building the simplest character you can in this system. But before that, there's a couple things that you new players need to know. In this video, I'm going to cover how proficiency works in this system, as well as every single non-skilled general feat you can take as a character. And there's a brand new general feat somewhere in this video, so make sure you watch the entire thing. Without further ado, let's get going. So I'm going to start with proficiency. As in other systems, proficiency applies to basically everything from your weapon attack rolls, to skill checks, to saving throws, and even armor class. Really quickly, I will go over the 3 saving throws that are in Pathfinder 2e. We've got your Fortitude save, which is your defenses against things like poisons and diseases. Then we've got your Reflex save, which is your defense against things that you could dodge that aren't regular attacks. And your Will saves are your defense against mental effects. Everything you could have proficiency in has 4 levels: Untrained, Trained, Expert, Master, and Legendary. If you're untrained in something, that means your proficiency bonus is 0. That means all you get for a bonus is your appropriate attribute attached to whatever you're untrained in. This will mostly apply to certain types of weapons and armor and skills, as everybody is at least trained in some types of weapons and their saving throws. Everybody is also at least trained in unarmored defense. If you are trained in something, you get a proficiency bonus of 2 plus your level to that thing. So if you're trained in a certain type of weapon and you're level 1, you get a 3 proficiency bonus plus either your strength or your dexterity, depending on the weapon. That will determine how well you can hit with that weapon. Once you hit level 2, you can start going expert in skills, although most characters have to wait until level 3. If you're an expert in something, you get 4 plus your level to that thing. So if you're an expert in medicine and you're level 3, you get a 7 proficiency bonus plus whatever your wisdom modifier is. To become a master in something, you usually need to be level 7. This gives you a proficiency bonus of 6 plus your level. And in order to be legendary in something, you usually need to be level 15. And that gives you a proficiency bonus of 8 plus your level. These are the general rules, but there are exceptions. The fighter is a big exception to the expert rule, but I'll get into that in another video. Now it's time to talk about general feats. If you aren't aware, general feats are pretty much exactly what they sound like. They're feats that anyone can take no matter their class or their ancestry. In fact, every single character gets one of these at level 3 and every 4 levels after. So a total of 5 throughout their character's life, if they get all the way up to level 19. So let's just go through these general feats. With adopted ancestry, you can choose an ancestry that's common or one that you have access to. You now essentially count as that ancestry for picking ancestry feats. But of course, you still can't pick feats that you lack the prerequisites for. For example, even if you were to pick Adopted Ancestry Elf, you probably wouldn't be able to pick Ancestral Longevity because you wouldn't be old enough. Next up, with Armor Proficiency, you become trained in Light Armor. If you're already trained in Light Armor, then you get training in Medium Armor. If you're already trained in both, then you get training in Heavy Armor. However, there is one change to this feat that I really like in the remaster. If you're at least 13th level, you become an expert in the armor gained from this feat. But you still don't gain any higher proficiency than that. This line was never in the original armor proficiency. And that line makes all the difference because It actually makes this feat worth it for some characters. Next we have a general feat that really isn't taken very much, and that is breath control. You can hold your breath 25 times longer than normal. In addition, you gain a +1 circumstance bonus on saving throws against inhaled threats, such as inhaled poisons. In addition, if you roll a success on such a saving throw, you get a critical success instead. This is one of those feats that's really situational, so maybe don't pick this one up. Canny Acumen is probably one of the best general feats you can take. Choose one of the saving throws I mentioned earlier in this video, or Perception. You become an expert in your choice. In addition, at 17th level, you become a master in your choice. This is just a fantastic way of getting your lowest saving throw on par with the rest of your saving throws. And even choosing Perception can have its merits, depending on your character. This is one of the 3 general feats I always take for all of my teamwork builds. It is that good. Next we've got another fantastic general feat called Die Hard. This means your character dies at dying 5 rather than dying 4, giving the party one more round to get you back up. This is the second general feat that I always take for every single one of my teamwork builds on this channel. Fast Recovery requires a Constitution modifier of +2, which essentially means you need to have boosted your Constitution at least twice before you take this feat. You regain twice as many hit points from resting. In addition, you can more easily recover from poisons and diseases. Each time you succeed or critically succeed on a fortitude save against a poison or disease, you reduce the condition by an additional 1. Also, by resting for the night, you decrease your drain condition by 2 instead of 1. Feather Step also has a prerequisite. You must have boosted your dexterity at least twice before taking this feat. All this feat allows you to do is step into difficult terrain, which can be useful, but overall pretty situational, just like the last feat. Moving on, we have Fleet, which increases your speed by 5 feet. And Incredible Initiative, which gives you a +2 circumstance bonus to all initiative rolls. Next we've got that brand new general feat called Pet. This essentially gives any character a lesser version of a familiar. I'm not going to go into familiars in this video. That requires its own video by itself. However, there are some differences between this feat and having an actual familiar. First, you do not get to change its abilities once a day. Second, a pet does not have access to master abilities, and it only has access to some of the abilities it would get as a familiar. For example, a pet could never aid you with skill checks like a familiar could. Ride allows you to automatically succeed at commanding your animal companion to move while you're riding it. Shield Block allows you to block damage with your shield. Toughness is the final feat that I always take for all my teamwork builds on this channel. It increases your hit points by 1 for every level that you have. It also reduces the DC of your recovery checks by 1. And weapon proficiency is very similar to armor proficiency. With this feat, you become trained in all martial weapons. If you already were, then you get training in one advanced weapon of your choice. At 11th level, you become an expert in these weapons. This is another change I really like because it makes this feat worth it for some classes. Alright, we got a few more general feats to cover, but these require higher than level 1. Starting at level 3, Ancestral Paragon gives you an extra first level Ancestry feat, on top of the 5 Ancestry feats you normally get as a character. I'll cover those in my Ancestry series. Next up we have one of my favorite general feats in Pathfinder 2e, Prescient Planner. Basically, After you purchase goods, you can spend 1 minute removing your backpack and pulling out an item you hadn't previously declared you purchased. This must be a piece of adventuring gear. It cannot be a weapon, armor, magic item, or similar. It also must be a common item with a level of no more than half your level. Also, its bulk must be low enough that carrying it wouldn't have made you encumbered. Oh, we need to scale this cliff? Here's a rope! Or, we need to write something. Here's some paper. Things like that is what this feat can let you do. Untrained improvisation got seriously buffed. Now, your proficiency bonus for untrained skills is your level -2. This increases to your level -1 at level 5 and your full level at level 7. This, however, still does not allow you to use actions that require you to be trained in the skill. It used to be half your level until level 7. This is a significant change. Expeditious Search at level 7 requires you to be a master in perception. You can now search an area in half the time. In addition, if you're legendary in perception, you can search an area in 1/4 of the time. Prescient Consumable requires Prescient Planner. You can now use Prescient Planner to pull out any consumable. This includes things like potions and alchemical items. But you must also meet the other requirements of Prescient Planner. And the final general feat that you can take that isn't a skill feat is Incredible Investiture, which requires a charisma modifier of +3. This allows you to invest in 12 magic items rather than just 10. If we're being honest here, this is probably the worst general feat in this whole list. You're never going to need to invest in 12 items. I'm honestly surprised they didn't just remove this feat from the general feat list. 10 invested items is more than enough. But for my current viewers, what do you guys think of the new pet feat, the changes to untrained improvisation, as well as the changes to weapon and armor proficiency? Let me know down in the comments. If you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more Pathfinder 2e teamwork content, or if you just want to learn more about the Pathfinder 2e system, since that's what I'm trying to cover right now. Or if you're just looking forward to the human video. But if you want to learn how to use teamwork for a better Pathfinder 2e combat experience, you can check out this video here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and remember, teamwork is vital. It helps us solve problems.